So now that we have our video inserted into a slide and it looks great, let's actually add some functionality to it. We've got it formatted, now let's work on the playback options. So the first thing we need to do is come into our slide and click on our video. That's going to give us our two ribbon toolbars for format and playback. Remember, at any time, if we wanted to change the way it looks, I can just come up here to the format bar and change anything here. But we're interested in the playback tab right now, in which I can change all the options in which the video actually will play back to the audience. Now the first decision we have to make is whether we want the video to start automatically when I advance to this slide, or whether I want to click the mouse to have it start. The key to this decision is really going to be whether or not you need to talk about what the video is before you play it. So in this case I'm going to leave it as on click because I want to tell the audience about Surfer Fred and who he is. If not, I could have just selected automatically. I can also place a check mark here on loop until stop if I want the video to continue playing and restarting when it's done until I move on to the next slide. The next item of interest is the volume. Now here is where we can decide what volume I want my video to play, because remember, you can hear it also. Now if I hit the play button on the video right now, it's pretty quiet. You'll notice that you are really only listening to the sound of the wave, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at high. I can turn it off completely by putting it on mute if I wanted to. So we've got our poster frame set. We did it in the last video, which is the picture that the users will see when they arrive at our slide. But I can also choose the fade in or fade out. That clip that we choose, I can have it stay there for a couple of seconds and fade before it starts the video, or just 1 second, or however long I choose. I can also do the same thing to fade out. So I'll put them both on 1 second, and to see what that looks like, I can come over all the way to the left and hit play. And I can see I have got a bit of a fade there. It just makes it look a little bit smoother, especially if you have a video that starts really abruptly. So the last thing we're going to do is trim our video. This video is pretty long and I do not need my audience to sit here for that entire duration while they watch him surf. I can actually shorten that to a nice little clip that will give them a better idea. This is also good if you have a really long video, didn't have a video editor on your computer to actually change it or crop it or trim it, but you only need a tiny portion for an interview. So I'm going to select trim video, and now I can actually start changing the start time and the end time. This green line over here signifies the start time of my video. The red line indicates the end time. In here is a precise moment on the frame. So anytime I can click and drag to change the start time or the end time. Now if I know precisely what frame I wanted to start and end, I can put those in here directly. But I don't know, which is why I'm going to use my mouse and advance these sliders. Now PowerPoint will even let you really fine-tune this down to the frame so you can get it just right. You can use this previous frame and next frame buttons to nudge the start time and end time, kind of like when we use the arrow keys to nudge the images to just the right spot. So I'm going to move this to some of the more actionable scenes here. I can make it brief and I can hit the play button to see what I've ended up with. Now you'll notice my fade in and fade out even stays on the video here. When I'm happy with what I choose, I can click OK and I can preview what this is going to look like. I'm going to hit the Shift F5 key on my keyboard and it's going to bring up my slide in full screen. Now remember, it's not starting because we told it to start when we click the mouse. So I can actually click on the video and it'll start right when I click. So you'll see my fade ins and my fade outs. It's a nice small video, and to get back to my presentation once I'm happy with it, I can hit the escape key. So if I liked what I saw, I can move on to the next slide, or I can select my video again. Come back to the playback tab, come back to the trim video and change it. It's up to me. When I'm happy, I can click OK and repeat the process of previewing it until I like what I see. So now that we've got some video, it looks great, it works great, it's just how we want it. Let's add some audio to this in the next video.